I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
I frankly think there could have been more aggressive coverage of the fact that a foreign government was hacking our committees.
Really overwhelming evidence of the Russian involvement in these hacks, and by denying it, continuing to deny it, he has essentially become really a propaganda piece for the Kremlin.
Let's take it from the top again, shall we? June 2016. Assange says there's upcoming DNC email leaks. 2 days later, Democrats say they've been hacked and mention Trump opposition research. CrowdStrike, a private firm, says they found malicious malware on DNC computers. Suggest maybe the Russians. Then someone called Guccifer 2 claims to be responsible for it all. A month later, DNC emails come out. All hell breaks loose as we learn that the DNC and Clinton conspired against the Bernie Sanders campaign. Months go by and Trump wins the presidency. A few months later, amoral legal assassin Robert Mueller is put on the job to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 election. People in Trump's campaign are falling like flies. Michael Flynn is coerced into lying, and Roger Stone is put on trial for lying to Congress. Fast forward to today, as it's been revealed that CrowdStrike themselves admit they never had evidence that the Russians were directly involved. The Mueller report never had a shred of evidence that a Russian hack occurred on DNC servers. Michael Flynn is released as it's been revealed that there was massive corruption and fraud. One example included recently revealed documents that showed that the FBI was going to drop the case against him in 2017, but Peter Strzok's wouldn't have it. Peter sets up a perjury trap, and in his own notes he writes that the intention is to get Flynn to lie. It's been 3 years, and nobody has refuted the evidence that Bill Binney has put forth. That is 3 key points that Binney has made in his forensic analysis of the DNC files. 1. The modification times on the files point to the use of a FAT file system, which is used almost exclusively by storage devices. 2. Analysis of the files released by supposed Russian government hacker Guccifer 2 reveals that they were created at a data transfer rate consistent with a flash drive, but not with an internet transfer. 3. The NSA would have known that the hack had taken place, thanks to the leaks revealed by Edward Snowden, which the NSA has never denied. Let's take this point by point.
Well, in all the 35,813 emails that they posted in 3 batches, all 35,813 had a last modified time that was rounded off to the last to an even second. So they all ended up in even seconds. Batch file formatting, file allocation table formatting, which is a process that when doing a batch process of data and transferring it to a storage device like a thumb drive or a CD-ROM, it rounds off the last modified time to the nearest even second.
In other words, if it were a remote hack, The last modified timestamps would be a mixed bag of numbers ending in even or odd, but they all end in even, a byproduct of using a storage device. This means WikiLeaks did not receive the files remotely, rather through a storage device.
So that meant it was not a hack. So no matter how you look at it, we're looking at the forensic evidence that says the DNC emails were not hacked. They were downloaded and physically transported to WikiLeaks. So we looked at all those files and said, okay, we ran a program to calculate the transfer rate of all that data. We found that the variations ran from something like 19 to 49.1 megabytes per second. And some people thought we couldn't, that was wrong, that it could be done. And so we said, okay, we're going to try it. Well, we got various rates, but the highest rate we got was between the data center in New Jersey and one in London, and that was 49.1 megabytes per second, or 12 megabytes per second, which is 1/4 the rate, little less than 1/4 the rate necessary to do the transfer at the highest rate that we saw in the Goosefer 2 data, which meant it didn't go across the net.
If you can get that speed from across the ocean, call me.
That the NSA, for example, has all the fiber optic taps across the United States and even around the world, plus trace route programs embedded in hundreds of places all over the network. So I knew they would know if packets were being passed around the U.S. or outside the U.S. or anywhere in the world, they could trace them and see who got them.
Thanks to the leaks from Edward Snowden, we now know that the NSA has a record of every text message, every phone call, and every packet of data that goes from your router or cell phone. They know where you are, what you're transmitting, and to who. Even a Russian hacker using a VPN is vulnerable to the NSA's ability to crack VPN encryption, meaning the NSA should have known instantly that the hack was happening, where it happened, and if it did happen, they have a record of it. It's easy to want to blame other countries when things don't go your way, but now we're seeing an even more dangerous precedent. Senate Republicans are now trying to get away with blaming Russia for the 2016 election without blaming Trump. They claim they have irrefutable evidence, yet we haven't seen any of that. Why? Because there's something more sinister at play here. What is so wrong about having healthy foreign relations with countries like Russia and China? Is China really spying on Americans through TikTok and WeChat? Why is Mike Pompeo itching for war with China? Is Pompeo intentionally trying to provoke a third world war? All this and more, next time.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.